On Saturday, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government announced they're forming a commission to investigate the violence at a peace rally in Bannu that happened the day before. At least one person died and 22 were injured when a gunfire caused a stampede. The rally, attended by thousands, demanded better security, saw tensions rise when the crowd marched towards the Bannu cantonment, setting fire to security tents. Shots were fired from a nearby area towards tents and security forces fired back, leading to chaos. Authorities called a jigra of local elders to restore order. Activists condemned the violence, claiming a death toll was higher than reported. KP government spokesperson Barrister Muhammad Ali Saif said the situation is now under control and that Chief Minister Ali Amin Gandapur had set up a commission to conduct an impartial investigation. He urged the public to wait for the commission's report and avoid spreading unverified information. Meanwhile, residents staged a sit-in outside the Bannu police line chalk demanding an investigation. They complained that mobile networks and internet services were shut down after the fire. Senator Mushtaq Ahmed Khan said the sit-in participants only want peace in their land. Earlier this week, a terrorist attack on the Bannu cantonment killed 8 military personnel. Pakistan demanded action from the Afghan government against those responsible. Relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan have been tense, largely due to the TTP group and border skirmishes. Afghan and Pakistani officials recently met in Doha to ease tensions. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has set an interministerial committee headed by Power Minister 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐬𝐴 to review power purchase agreements and protect consumers from losses caused by power producers' faults. Sources close to the Power Minister told Business Recorder. This decision came after the meeting about 969 megawatt 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬𝐬 hydropower project, which has been non-functional due to serious design flaws, costing economy billions. The committee includes members from various ministries and organizations and will look into tariff issues stemming from the project's problems. They aim to present a report on how to shield customers from extra charges due to these outages. The committee will review existing agreements and suggest legal actions to prevent future losses. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also discussed the design flaws of the 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬𝐬 project during his visit to China, asking Chinese companies responsible to fix issues quickly. The IMC's formation coincides with growing discussions on the high cost of independent power producers, partly due to the value of the Pakistani rupee. The committee's terms include examining the tariff impact of outages, protecting consumers from extra charges, and reviewing the power purchase agreement template. Meanwhile, residents are demanding investigation into IPP political parties like Jamaat-e-Islami and MQMP support these probes, and there have been heated debates on social media. Recently, during a National Assembly Committee meeting, Power Secretary Rashid Langrial said Power Division is ready to scrap IPP contacts if recommended by the Assembly. The Power Minister proposed reviewing each IPP's profile to assess the contracts and payments. He also ordered an audit of IPP agreements from the last 30 years following concerns about their fairness. Former caretaker Minister 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬𝐴 and the current Power Minister have been debating this issue. 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬 criticized the high cost of IPPs with low to no electricity production, while the current Minister defended ongoing efforts to address past planning failures and privatize power distribution companies. On Saturday, Karachi experienced light rain, bringing relief after extreme heat. The Pakistan Meteorological Department forecast more rain across the country in the next 24 hours. Rain and thunderstorms were reported in various parts of Karachi, including Clifton and Sadr. Chief Meteorologist Dr. Sardar Sarfaraz said most of Karachi should see good rain today, with the weather system moving from the north to the south. The Met Office expects temperatures moving north from the south. The Met Office expects temperatures in Karachi to stay between 38 to 40 degrees centigrade with 76% humidity. Mayor Murtaza Wahab assured all underpasses were clear and municipal staff were on hand. Nationwide scattered rainstorms are anticipated in several regions including Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Sindh, Punjab and Balochistan. Heavy rain is likely isolated areas of South Punjab and Northeast Balochistan. The National Disaster Management Authority warned of potential flash floods and urban flooding. The Met Office also cautioned that landslides could occur in hilly areas, and the National Emergency Operations Center highlighted risks of glacial outburst floods in mountainous regions due to the expected heavy rainfall. At least 3 people have been killed in an Israeli air attack on the Siam family house in As-Saftawi neighborhood in the North Gaza Governorate, according to the Palestinian media outlet. There were also reports of the Israeli military blowing up residential squares of the University College in the Tal al-Hawa area southwest of Gaza City. Jeff Halper, director of the Israeli Committee in the House Demolition, said the Israeli practice of getting Palestinians in the occupied West Bank to demolish their own homes happens mainly in Jerusalem. Palestinians, when they get a demolition order which is approved by the court, they can go to the court, but they lose 100% of the time, Halper told Al Jazeera. But their houses will be demolished, so they have a draconian choice. Either the Israelis will demolish their houses, which means bringing out police, bringing out bulldozers, and so on, which costs a lot of money, or the court will make a deal of so-called self-demolition with the family, and they'll say, look, if we don't have this expenditure, your house is going to be demolished. You're going to get a fine, he said. Harper added that a fine can be about $20,000, but the courts argue that if the family demolishes their house, the fine will be reduced by half. There are thousands of cases like this. It's routine oppression. An Israeli air attack on a gathering of people on 𝐿-𝐺𝐸 Street in Gaza City has killed and injured a number of people, according to 𝐿-𝐺𝐸𝐬 Arabia. They also reported that an Israeli bombing targeted a house in the Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza, injuring a number of people. The Israeli military carried a wave of deadly attacks across the Gaza Strip in the past hours, leaving dozens dead and injured, according to reports. Bangladesh soldiers patrolled Dhaka's empty streets due to a curfew aimed at stopping deadly student-led protests against government job quotas. These protests, which have claimed over 100 lives this week, led to an internet and text message blackout that started Thursday. The violence began over a new job quota that has escalated, with the police using tear gas and grenades. The curfew, which allows a 2-hour break for shopping, will continue until Sunday evening, when officials will review the situation. The unrest, fueled by high youth unemployment, is the worst since Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's re-election. International groups have criticized the internet shutdown and the government's response, with the EU expressing concern over the violence. Hasina cancelled planned diplomatic trips due to the protests. Many opposition leaders and student activists have been arrested. Protesters are demanding Hasina's resignation, citing frustration over the lack of competitive elections for over 15 years. Hospitals and police have reported more deaths from clashes, with police actions responsible for many. The ongoing internet blackout has hindered communication with news updates, including those from major newspapers and state TV, which was set on fire by protesters. Dhaka and other parts of Bangladesh have been in chaos lately due to the escalating anti-government protests. The unrest, sparked by the killing of protesters by security forces, has led to school closures, media blackouts, and an internet shutdown. Around 40 people have died and hundreds are injured. Students led the protests after the court reinstated job quotas for the descendants of freedom fighters from the 1971 independence movement. With high unemployment and a struggling economy, this decision has angered many. The situation remained tense with ongoing protests. The unrest reflects border issues of economic stagnation and political discontent. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's recent re-election, which was boycotted by the opposition, has added to the tension. The government needs to handle the situation carefully to prevent further violence and address the protesters' demands transparently. This turmoil serves as a warning for other South Asian countries about risks of political repression and economic hardship. On Friday, Asif Hussain and 80 other Indian students made it back home from Bangladesh after a chaotic 6-hour journey. They were escaping violence between protesters and security forces. Mobile internet had been cut off on Thursday and telecom services were still disrupted. Hussain, who studies at a medical college in Maniganj near Dhaka, found it especially stressful being cut off from his family in India. Though his college wasn't directly affected, there was trouble nearby. When news of student deaths in Dhaka reached them, Hussain and other students hired private taxis to get to the Indian border about 160 kilometers away. The Indian High Commission provided them with a security escort. They left their college at 2:30 a.m., reached the border after 6 hours, and crossed only in the afternoon after clearing immigration. Hussain still has a day of travel ahead to get his hometown in Assam. He described the experience as very scary and mentioned he hasn't been able to contact many friends in Dhaka. India's foreign ministry reported around 8,500 Indians are studying in Bangladesh and about 15,000 living there. Meghalaya, another Indian state with borders Bangladesh, is also helping with evacuations. More than 350 students from India, Nepal, and Bhutan have crossed this route so far. India has advised its citizens in Bangladesh to stay home as much as possible and confirmed that all Indians in Bangladesh are safe.